children, grandchildren. Success, happiness, love, and love, and love, and many points. To you, my dears.
Yes. Oh, I would drink to the ladies and I would drink to
Czego
love.
będę czekał? Go Mark!
This place is all about food and wine. Welcome to Georgia. Our first visit in Georgia is to the Kareba winery. Now, this northeastern part of Georgia is a very big wine producing region, and it's harvest time. In fact, as we drove in, there must have been at least 50 trucks full of grapes waiting to bring them into the winery.
And like this, we have
The
set
tunnels carved out of the mountains.
Karba used two different way of winemaking. That's why I decided to make two different shape of different grapes. It's part of Georgia, different grapes. And by the way, near to the tunnel, the company has vineyards.
Let the party begin.
You need two hands, that's why it's called orchel. It's a little harder to use, but so interesting item. You need to balance this item, take out, and then spill out like that. Looks easy, but it's a little harder to practice.
150 liters in each of these containers. Our first 2 nights in Georgia will be spent at the Caucasian wine resort. Semi-sweet wine? No, not for us. But they've got many other varieties. And it says on the bottle, for Georgian romantic adventures.
Yes, please.
And this is a white wine that's much more like it, a dry white. It's harvest time. The view from the balcony of our room at the Caucasian resort. This afternoon we're visiting the Tsinamdali estate, which in the 18th century belonged to Georgian nobility. The main house was built in 1851. Interesting construction with the 3 layers of bricks and then the random ashlar stone in between. These are the old wine cellars, which are being restored at the moment. And we're into the beginning of autumn. Next month, everything will be covered in snow.
Love me tender, love me true, all my dreams fulfill.
The hilltop town of Sirnagi. It's also called the City of Love because they have chapels that do 24/7 weddings. The whole town has been beautifully restored with UNESCO money. the monastery of Boje. Now this, according to tradition, is where Christianity was introduced by Saint Nino, a young nun from Cappadocia. This is a 19th century edition. This morning we're visiting Javari Monastery. Now this was the site where St. Nino, the young nun from Turkey, planted a cross in the 4th century AD, and this was actually the birth of Christianity in the Caucasus. Now visiting the church and the surrounding fortress of Svezich Koveli. This church was built in the 12th century, but on the site of the original, the very first church erected in Georgia in the 4th century. Stalin, and we're in Gori. This was the coach that took Stalin to Yalta at the end of the Second World War to meet up with Churchill and Roosevelt, where they just divided up the whole world. And under this edifice is the little house where Stalin was born. Stalin's early days. He studied at a seminary to become a priest before he went into politics. In his early 20s, he became involved in various anti-Tsarian activities, and he was jailed and sent to Siberia 5 times, but he kept escaping. Water storage. This was called the theatre. And this was the throne room. One of the oldest churches in Tbilisi started, of course, as a church, 8th, 9th centuries, and then during the Russian Empire it became a prison, and when the Bolsheviks took over, it became a theater, and now it's back to its original purpose as a church. And not forgetting the endless rows of Soviet-era apartment blocks. And on the other banks of the river, the building in the background was the palace of the last Queen of Georgia. How about a bird's eye view of Tbilisi?
We'll see the whole Tbilisi.
Lovely. The whole city, yeah. Tbilisi is definitely one of the most photogenic cities you've ever been to. And now for the ultimate in kitsch, this gigantic aluminium statue of the mother of Georgia.
We're going down, but wait for the...
There we are, pretty good footage. One of the many bath houses in this area. Sulfur baths. The monkey and the macaw. And now the waterfall, the highlight of this little trek. Georgia has always been a land of many, many cultures. Here we have the traditional hand and foot washing of the Muslims before going to a mosque. And here you have an Armenian Orthodox tower. And of course, during the Russian Empire, they had to come in and do their thing as well. One of the many little back streets for outdoor eating. Late 16th century. It's rather charming. Tower is the creation of the puppet master Gabriel Adze. The complex dates back to the 6th century AD, the start of Christianity in Georgia. The history of Georgia against all the oppressions over the last two centuries, mainly by the Russians. And the Russians are certainly despised in Georgia, especially since so few years ago in 2008, nearly a quarter of the country was taken by the Russians. And now for something a little bit more contemporary. The present government has closed this museum for reasons unknown. The Freedom Bridge. And the traffic in Tbilisi never stops rushing. Day in, day out, and even over the weekends. Tbilisi's City Hall. These are portraits of Georgian actors.